The Sims is dead. Or is it? This is what happened to the popular game and why there won't be a Sims 5. In 2022, EA officially teased the next Sims game, a mysterious project called Project Rene, widely seen as The Sims 5. Players expected the usual sequel cycle, new graphics, new features, a fresh start, but years later there is still no release date, and it's not because The Sims 4 failed, it's because it was too successful. EA built the perfect money machine, and shutting it down would be like turning off a faucet that prints cash. For some players, Sims 4 isn't just a game, it's a $1,000 lifestyle. And once a game becomes that profitable, the sequel stops being exciting and starts being dangerous. In 2000, The Sims arrived with a totally different idea. No bosses, no final mission, just building lives, telling stories, and experimenting. It was simple, addictive, and unlike anything else on the market. Players made people, built homes, and controlled their lives, wholesome or chaotic. Either way, it kept people coming back. Today, The Sims is one of the most successful franchises in gaming history, selling over 200 million copies. Between 2004 and 2014, it launched a string of follow-ups including The Sims 4, the biggest hit yet, played by over 85 million people. While the game is technically free to play, it's also packed with opportunities to customize your Sims and your world, most of which are an additional fee, and make the game extremely profitable for creator Maxis and parent company Electronic Arts, or EA. With this level of success, another sequel was inevitable. That's usually how it works in video games. Even in those early teases, the focus wasn't on a new story or a new Sims generation, it was tools, especially building. Players watched footage of furniture being taken apart and rebuilt piece by piece. And then there was one other twist: multiplayer. Rene teases suggested players could collaborate, at least in build mode, a big shift of a franchise that's mostly been single-player for decades. When The Sims 4 launched, it cost around $40 depending on where you bought it. But in 2022, the game went free to play, so anyone could just jump in and start building their own virtual communities. That's when the DLC machine kicks in, and no game has weaponized it like The Sims. Over the last 10 years, Sims 4 has released 20 expansion packs, all developed by the original creative team. Their first pack, Get to Work, was only released a year after the game debuted and allowed your Sim to take on new jobs like detective, doctor, and scientist. It also introduced a new shopping district where your Sim could run a store. The idea of being able to send your Sim to work turned out to be a massive hit, and it hasn't slowed down since. Future expansion packs offered the chance to increase your Sim's social options, create new and exciting places to live, and most importantly of all, have pets. Later expansion packs would introduce darker elements like Sims funerals and graveyards, and even supernatural elements. Along the way, the expansion packs started to feel more like an essential part of the experience as the world of The Sims kept growing. And this was highly profitable for EA. The expansion packs retailed for $20 to $40. And that is the trick. At first, the DLC feels optional. Then it feels normal. And suddenly the base game starts to feel like the demo. And it wasn't the only way to boost your game. In addition to expansion packs, The Sims 4 introduced game packs. These smaller DLCs introduce specific game elements, and they retail for $14 a pop. These focus on more out-there plot elements, and past ones have introduced vampires, werewolves, and even a crossover with Star Wars. However, it's not just the sales that make this a very profitable option for the company. They cost the company far less to develop than a new game, as they're building on an existing framework. It's estimated that an expansion pack can cost up to $10 million to design from start to finish, while a game pack may cost the company about $3 million. This is compared to the average budget for a AAA video game, which can easily reach upwards of $80 million. But The Sims 4 doesn't just have expansion packs and game packs, it also has stuff packs and kits. Little bite-sized DLC bundles designed to get you spending just a few bucks over and over again. And when you add all of it together, you've got one of the most expensive complete editions in gaming history. Add in the 20 expansion packs, the game, stuff and kit packs, and the Sims 4 experience becomes $1,000 to a $1,500 hobby for one game. And that's not even counting sales tax, bundles that don't include everything, rebuys across platforms, or buying newer DLC the second it drops because you don't want your Sims lifestyle to feel outdated. But it helps a lot when you have a built-in audience. Over 200 million copies later, it's one of gaming's biggest franchises, and Sims 4 is the engine still printing money. The expansion packs and game packs continue to roll out, with the most recent titled Adventure Awaits released in October 2025. So it is clear that The Sims 4 isn't just surviving, it's thriving, and that might actually be bad news for the future of the franchise. Normally, a sequel is the obvious next step. But for EA, a Sims 5 isn't just a creative decision. It is a reset button on their best business model. And EA is clearly acting like it. The first 3 Sims games never took more than 5 years to release the next installment. The Sims 4, though, has been going for over a decade, and it still doesn't feel old. The expansions have been so constant that most years bring a fresh wave of new content. It's open-ended, and players never really finish it. As long as new content keeps dropping, they'll keep coming back. So the money keeps coming in. And while The Sims 4 has been free to play for a while, it's actually more profitable than ever. With old-school AAA game releases, before the age of DLC, people would pay $60 to purchase a game, and that was all the money the company would get out of them. With an endless supply of expansion packs, though, the company gets people to pay over and over and over again. Sims players don't feel like they're spending $1,000 because they're not spending it all at once. They're spending $40 here, $20 there, $10 there, $5 there, for years. It is the slowest financial ambush in gaming. A $15 a month subscription is $180 a year. Over 10 years, that's $1,800, and Sims fans can land in the same neighborhood without realizing it. And unlike the subscription, where you could cancel anytime, Sims DLC is psychological. Because once you've bought 10 expansions, you don't want to start over in a new Sims game without them. You don't want to lose the weather system. You don't want to lose your pets. You don't want to lose the careers, the neighborhoods, the furniture, the worlds, the build options. So you stay, and EA keeps on collecting. Despite having no shortage of content for their favorite game, Sims fans were excited for the announcement of a new project. After all, The Sims 4 had been such a leap forward for the game that they couldn't wait to discover what came next. And so they waited, and they waited, and waited some more. After the reveal, it was like EA hit the mute button, and since then it's been radio silence. And that tells you everything about what EA wants next. Is The Sims 5 coming? At this point, the outlook might be cloudy at best. Sims 4 has become such a money-making juggernaut that it never quite ended. The company is naturally hesitant to sunset their bread and butter. But the problem doesn't end there. The Sims 4 has been on the market for over a decade now, and that is a century in gaming time. It's not just that graphics have evolved and hardware has changed. The way people play games has changed, and it's not going back anytime soon. But The Sims can't hold back the tide forever. And if The Sims goes online, it risks bringing the whole internet with it. Outages, bans, and toxicity included. But here is the bigger problem for EA. It's not 2004 anymore. Back then, The Sims wasn't just the king of life simulators, it was basically the only kingdom. If you wanted a make people build houses, run lives, create chaos game, you bought The Sims, end of story. Now, well, that monopoly is cracking. The gaming industry figured out what Sims fans really want. Customization, cozy gameplay, relationship storytelling, building and decorating, and a world that reacts to you. And suddenly, life sim competition isn't just one game, it's an entire genre. You've got games competing on the cozy side, the farming side, the dating side, the open world side, the roleplay side. Players who never would have touched The Sims in 2014 can now find an alternative in 2024. And now, for the first time ever, The Sims isn't competing with the next Sims, it's competing with an entire lineup of rivals. Games like Inzoi are coming for Sims players who want realistic graphics, modern character creation, and a next-gen life sim world that feels more like a movie than a cartoon. Titles like Paralives are targeting the builders, the players who want deep home design, cozy living, and maximum creativity without needing $1,500 worth of DLC. Life by You targets total player control, mods, freedom, full world simulation, basically what Sims fans have begged for years. And games like Stardew Valley and Animal Crossing proved something even worse for EA. Millions of people don't need The Sims specifically, they just need a comforting life game they can sink hundreds of hours into. Which means Sims players finally have options. And once players have options, the monopoly dies. Even worse for EA, many of these competitors are built for the modern gaming economy from day one. They launch in early access, they update constantly, they build community feedback into development. They monetize cosmetics, expansions, and creator tools. That means Sims 4 isn't competing with Sims 3. It's competing with every lifestyle game that steals just one slice of its pie. And if a player only cares about decorating, romance, or farming, they can just leave. And that is a new problem The Sims has never had before. When The Sims debuted, it basically owned the genre. Now the genre has grown up, and players can get their life sim fix almost anywhere. There are many concerns about the future of The Sims, but one big X factor. After the 2022 announcement, information about The Sims 5 started becoming few and far between. But in 2025, a dam finally broke, and it wasn't what anyone expected. Instead, they announced that Project Rene wasn't going to be a new iteration of The Sims, but instead it was going to be a new spin-off geared to a multiplayer online audience. It would be developed alongside The Sims 4 but not replace it. One major thing the company confirmed is that The Sims 4 will keep getting new expansion packs, but the franchise itself is also shifting beyond one single game, toward a bigger network of connected Sims experiences with multiple ways to play. But one word has people very concerned. Right now, Project Rene looks like it's going to be online and free to play, with extra features likely locked behind microtransactions. It's been in testing and development for at least 3 years, but beyond that, EA is still keeping things close to their chest. And honestly, this isn't even new territory for The Sims. They've tried the online angle before, with the idea of a Sims Hub, a shared space for legacy games where players could upload and share their families and creations. It wasn't tied directly into the main game, but it was the first real sign that The Sims was thinking bigger than a single-player sandbox. But one element is making its way everywhere. In late 2024, Electronic Arts announced that they would be adding the first AI features into the Sims Hub. This would allow fans to customize and convert objects, scan designs directly into the server, and even customize the faces of your Sims with their own photos, all powered by generative AI. This caused no shortage of controversy among fans. The programs are imperfect, although they are getting less so with each new update, and they're facing plenty of accusations of taking content from artists without pay, as well as being bad for the environment. But the march of AI doesn't seem to be stopping, and The Sims are getting on board. It's not clear what the future of The Sims is going to look like, but what is clear is that it is not going to look like a premium Sims 5 getting a traditional release. AAA games are still being released all the time, and the budgets are getting bigger all the time. That means the risk of a new release is increasing all the time, and games are taking more and more time in between releases as a result. Some franchises, like Kingdom Hearts, took over 10 years between releases and filled in the gap with supplemental games for other platforms. And The Sims 5 may simply not make sense for EA right now. There's always a risk that a new game won't deliver what the fans want and will bleed the audience in a hurry. But there is no such risk with an existing game. The graphics and gameplay on The Sims 4 are still up to par enough that fans have no complaints. The constant infusion of new content via expansion packs allows the game to keep things fresh and keep a constant stream of money coming in without having to spend all that money on the development of a completely new game where people will still have to start over. And the future of The Sims is likely to look very different. Whatever Project Rene is, it's likely to take the world of The Sims in a completely new direction. Gone is the private little slice of heaven you create for yourself. Instead, you'll be met with a massive multiplayer game that brings the entire internet into play. And for those people who wish that they could make real friends more easily in the world of Sims, it could be a dream come true. But it's likely to come with some major drawbacks, including the introduction of more pay-to-play features, and it won't be for everyone. And that might be the point. The Sims is one of the biggest franchises in video game history, and it's not stopping anytime soon. And because of that, it might have become too big for a single game called The Sims 5. It would take years for a new game to approach the scope that The Sims 4 has reached. And whatever direction it takes about embracing multiplayer and AI or eschewing them, it won't satisfy everyone. And so rather than put all its eggs in one basket, the franchise is ready to branch out and see what the fans embrace. Because in 2026 and beyond, The Sims isn't trying to sell you a sequel, it's trying to stay in your life forever. This isn't the only area where AI might be wreaking havoc. Check out real reason RAM prices are skyrocketing and getting worse, or watch this video instead.